go through the highlights of things so that everyone's prepared when they come in. Maybe we can do some work ahead of time before you get here to prepare some tools. And there's not so much to do afterward. You're ready for everything. And it would also allow us to have the time to, in context, have conversations as we get closer to the date, supply co-branded materials and things of that nature, maybe even begin preparing your customers and things for the launch of some new services. So can everybody see my main screen, which has just Course 1, Enviroguard for Real Estate on it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What I'm going to do, because not everyone could be here today, and we've got a full class already for this, I'm going to go ahead and record this session. So if everybody's comfortable with that, I'm going to go ahead and press the record button. The other thing that I'm going to do is just ask you to that we not speak over one another. If somebody's listening to this session or you want to go back and listen to it, I think Q&A is great. I think we can use this time as a brief discussion period, but let's just try to keep it clear so that anybody who's listening afterward can also take advantage of it. All right, so I am recording. So welcome to preparation for certification. This is the first time, as I mentioned, that we're doing this, and it is meant to kind of give everybody a 30,000-foot view of what goes on here in Banner Elk, North Carolina, and how you can best be ready to come to certification training, and then what you should be thinking about as you get here so that your takeaway is effective immediately. The last thing we want you to do is get really excited by being here, but not be able to hit the ground running when you get back home. So what I prepared here is just a short little presentation to keep us on track. And so the first thing that I thought I would do, and let's see if it's going to help me here, is introduce you to the development team. Let me just get everybody's names up here. I imported this one, so it's giving me a little bit of a. Okay, there we go. All right, we've got 9 official members of the development team: Jonathan Porter, Bradley Lynch, John Sweeney, Scott Majeski, Johnny Hunter, Devin Basher, Pete Panazopoulos, and Eric Mortensen make up that development team. Jonathan and Brad are from Louisiana and New Orleans and Baton Rouge, respectively. John Sweeney is from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Scott Majeski is from Chicago. Eric Mortensen from Minneapolis. Pete Panazopoulos is from the Washington, D.C. area. Devin Basher from New York, and Johnny Hunter from Nashville, Tennessee. All of these guys work with me on a daily basis to make this a contractor-driven program, meaning that everything that we do because we've been asked to do it, right? Whether it is a piece of marketing material, or whether it's a video, or whether it's a new addition to training or a new document, we are driven by our network and nothing more. So I want everyone to be familiar with them. Everyone is also probably familiar with the fact that we've got some national brands on the development team. We've also got independents on the development team. Our process of inviting people to join the Certified Contractor Program and what will soon be known as the Enviroguard Authorized Dealer Program, because what we've developed really approximates more of a dealer base than just a certification, is that we want to partner with the best companies and operators, not necessarily with an individual brand. We're maybe different that way, that we're not just targeting all Vanicleans, all Pure Cleans, all independents, whatever it might be. It just happens that we have got a lot of good relationships in those areas, and there are a lot of good qualified operators as represented on the screen right now. If you know these guys and you're part of that brand or that maybe even independent, you may know a lot of the faces on the screen. The other thing that we want to prepare you for is one thing. Bring a full-face respirator with multi-gas cartridges with you. We can supply everything else that you're going to need while you're here, but we need you to have your own full face respirator, and we need you to bring multi-gas cartridges. We do about, I'm going to say approximately 40% of everything that we do is all hands-on. And so whether we're working with the chlorine dioxide products or we're working with OxyPrep, OxyPar, we just want to make sure that everyone is protected properly and that we're demonstrating good and best practices while you're here with us doing hands-on training. Now that we're through that, let's speak about the 5 lead sources. I wanted to bring this up early on today because we've been learning a lot. If you keep up with me at all on social media, or maybe you're new to our Enviroguard Certified Contractor page on Facebook, and by the way, if you haven't joined it, please join it. Please friend us on Facebook. We have a lot of good and consistent conversations for best practices going on there. But if you're not following me on social media, you probably haven't seen the business development effort that I have committed to you, and that is, if you come here to us, I'm coming back to you. And what that entails is that from the perspective of real estate agents, home inspectors, mold assessors, insurance brokers, and your current customers, I have a lot of experience in doing one-on-one presentations, group presentations, those sorts of things. We just have to line our calendars up. Now that Richard Smith is doing field training for us, we'll be here on hand. We'll be doing workshops, regionalized workshops, all these sorts of things. I've got an ever-growing opportunity in my calendar to be of assistance to you on the business development side of things. I would approximate that just the 2.5 days that I spent with Eric Mortensen in Minneapolis this week, we probably we were in front of enough of these customers to represent the equivalent of as many as 10,000 warranty renewals annually. I've got a calculator here. I didn't think about this, but I'm just going to kind of give you a brief rundown of what that means. And by 10,000 warranty renewals, I mean potential. Okay, so 10,000, and I'm going to say times 25% gives us 2,500 probable warranty renewals. And if you look at the cost of our warranty renewal being $329, that gives you about $822,000 in annual inspection renewals alone, excluding maintenance services, excluding emergency services, everything that ties back into our program and our warranty as you're the contractor of record with that. And by the way, I'm moving along quickly. I'm gonna give a pause right after this so that you can ask me some questions, because this one might prompt some questions, especially as we're talking about warranty renewals and dollars and things of that nature. Nevertheless, be prepared that some of the first places that we're going to go to together are going to be real estate, home inspectors, mold assessors, insurance brokers, and current customers. Now, I've got if you haven't seen it yet, you've been invited to Google Drive, to your own personal, or I should say your own company Google Drive, where we're going to be putting forms in there for you that explain a lot of these things and back it up with detail. And one of those is currently called the 4 lead sources. Now, this says 5 lead sources, and it's only because I didn't have insurance brokers on there before. We sat down with some residential insurance brokers while I was in Minneapolis, and that's where Auto Owners is out of, and companies like that. And we discovered that these guys would love to broker our warranty program through you as well, which means they would be the maintainers of that customer base. And I think that that's going to have a lot of merit in the very near future. And I'm going to begin the national development effort on that as well, with some targets like Progressive and Auto Owners and some others that will tie into maybe some emergency service work that you might be currently doing with those brands. So anyway, let me pause for a second in terms of what I've been saying, and ask you for a little Q&A, a little feedback right now. We can begin a little bit of discussion maybe on lead sources and questions that you might have about this. There's only a few of us, so don't be shy. No questions?
Hey, Mark, this is Dave. What about new home builders?
New home builders are certainly an opportunity. What we're doing with them right now is because we are getting our arms around some inspection protocol that we might want to see during the construction process, how that ties back into their plans, our knowledge of their insulation packages, all the way through air sealing packages, and what moisture controls we might want to preempt that construction with. We are suggesting to builders that we do beta, like beta, what do you call them? Like tests, right? Beta tests with them. So we are currently, I don't know if you know Robert Peacock down in Brunswick, Georgia or not, but we are beginning a beta test with a builder group down there. They build between, on a low side, 60 and on the high side, 150 homes per year. They've decided to join us. Pete Panazopoulos, who's on the development team, his only business over the years has actually been remediation for builders. And so we have been building toward that for a while now, and I'm about to head up there to business development with him, sit down with those larger builders, and work on a beta test there. So they're absolutely on the table. What we would want to do is spend the balance of this year doing a beta test with them so that we don't have to be perfect, right? We can work along with them, develop the marketing tools, the inspection protocols, everything for the program. And then next year's program for continuing ed is actually called Enviroguard for Builders and Developers. At that point in time, those beta tests from this year will become the early adopters next year, and they'll be the ones who are first to market in their regions. So that would be my suggestion. And then the year after that is Enviroguard for architects and engineers, which kind of completes that first loop in realtors, builders, developers, architects, and engineers. It's a great three industry model that's perfectly complementary. Does that make sense?
Yep. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions about this? In the 4 lead sources, which will soon be called the 5 lead sources, and I'm going to write another paragraph in there. What we speak about is the motivations, the singular motivations of each of these groups, how we intend to penetrate this market, and then from there we go into all the tools and things of that nature necessary to penetrate all these markets, how they complement one another. And then, from our standpoint, how we come back and supply anything in the realm of web content, email content, campaigns, presentations, handouts, all those sorts of things, and videos, by the way, to make that a reality. And if you're not familiar, we are bringing on I'll just say director of marketing, who will be responsible solely for supporting Enviroguard. I'm going to just go ahead and say Enviroguard authorized dealers. For a while, we referred it to certified contractors, but those are really the individuals who come here. And our Facebook page is appropriately titled Enviroguard Certified Contractors. However, the company itself, as you'll see, really represents more of a dealership because of our next topic, which is licensing. We offer a free license, which entitles you to the use of all of our intellectual property, from everything as simple as branding, through content, through video work, and everything that we put together for you. But this is a big part of things, because even though it's free, it's still content and everything that we've developed. So we ask that by the time you come here, that you're familiar with the licensing agreement, and by the time you leave here, that you've executed that licensing agreement with us, so that we can begin to convey assets to you. The sooner you do that, the better we all are, because we can do things like put your co-branded videos right into your folder on Google Drive and all those sorts of things. So the sooner the better, but there's no rush. Just know that this is one thing currently in your Google Drive that you'll want to be familiar with, review. If you have questions, let's go over those together and make sure that you're comfortable with everything. But that is definitely a part of the program that's essential to supporting you. Any questions about licensing? Okay, let's move on to insurance. As you know, our warranty program is backed by Crum & Forrester. They are an A+ rated top 3 carrier in the nation, and they have partnered with us. The way that this works is that when you come into the class, and we'll go ahead and give you these documents. In fact, I'll ask Joe to go ahead and populate your Google Drive with this PDF form right away, but they won't accept it until you go through certification with us. Once they receive your certificate, both for you individually and for your company, then they'll accept your application and they'll be ready to go ahead and underwrite you. Okay, now here's the deal with the insurance, and this is going to preempt a couple questions for you as an owner-operator of your company. The insurance program allows you to write up to $250,000 in sales per year on your warranty and inspections program. Now that's an awful lot, because if you think about that, 250,000 divided by, let's just say 330, allows you to write about 757 warranties under that, right? 757 warranties is $250,000 in revenue. Now, here's the question for you that you need to consider. Do you want to put a new insurance program together in your existing company? Because this is extensive. It's your G&L, your professionals, your errors and omissions, your pollutions liability, and your warranty coverage, okay? Or do you want to run that as a separate LLC that's perfectly complementary to your contracting business, okay? Now, for some of you who might be franchises, you might want to strongly consider a complementary LLC that you don't have to pay, worry about paying royalties on. If you're an independent, you might want to say, gosh, I'd just rather have everything under one company, right? It's totally up to you. You can do it any way you want to do it, but I want you to be familiar with it, how that interacts with your business. And let me add this onto it. One other reason that you might want to have a separate LLC, there's probably a couple other reasons, but one of them is that mold assessors is going to be one of your targets. And I'm going to draw out a scenario to you that just happened to us. I was in Minneapolis, Minnesota with Eric. Now, they've already started Enviroguard Minnesota as their separate LLC to complement their AdvantaClean company in Minneapolis. Now, the mold assessor who we sat down with, approximately on an annual basis, does between 500 and 600 inspections. Well, they want to be able to broker, right, on the flip side of all of their clearance, they want to be able to broker a warranty program to everybody that they work with, which means also from the standpoint of your contracting company, your competition. Now, why would you want that to happen? The reason is that let's just assume that this is you right now, and you work with a mold assessor, and only 10% of what they actually do in terms of total business is your business, right? So out of 500, that's 50 a year that you do with them. Well, that leaves you another, hold on a second, turn that off. That leaves you another 90% that's done with your competition. Why would you want to open up your warranty program at all to your competition? Well, when that mold assessor puts your warranty on what they have clearance tested, now all future maintenance and emergency service work comes to you, okay? You are the contractor of record at that point in time, and all business in the future becomes your business. It is a great way to grow your market share through our program and not be directly competitive through your let's just call it your Enviroguard LLC with those contractors. They may even want to work with you independently through your Enviroguard company to warrant other business that they may not be sending through a mold assessor or something of that nature. So just be aware of the moving parts, the opportunities that may develop for you as you go down the road, and kind of think of it with the end in mind to begin with. Do you have any questions about that detail? All right, let's move on to the roadmap to assurance. The roadmap to assurance is a really simple infographic for understanding how things work. Everything begins with the initial inspection. That inspection is going to give us a history and a total perspective on any problem that there may be within a structure, from the outside of the building envelope all the way to the inside, unconditioned spaces, things of that nature. Our warranty program is a whole structure warranty, okay? And if you haven't read the terms and conditions yet or had the opportunity to, we'll make sure that those are in each of your folders in Google Drive so that you can read that for yourself. But you're going to see it is a whole structure warranty, which means that you're going to be head and shoulders above the competition in several areas in your region that you serve currently. Now, there's only two possibilities that come out of an initial inspection. Either you have conducive conditions for a problem or you don't, right? Either way, there's a pathway to your continuous protection warranty. If you have conducive conditions, then you're either going to need remediation if there's active mold growth going on, or you're going to need moisture controls, right? Or you might need a combination of both. All of that goes to the permanent property history report. At that point in time, you've got no conducive conditions, and now you've got a free and clear path to your warranty. If after the initial inspection we find that there's no conducive conditions, there's a direct pathway to the continuous protection warranty, and therefore all that information goes into the permanent property history report, and now you get into your annual loop. That means ongoing inspection revenue to the tune of $329 per property, any maintenance and emergency services that accompany it during that year, and then of course all of that goes into the permanent property history report, and you rinse and repeat. Pretty simple process. Any questions on how that works? I know that there's probably a lot of idiosyncrasies you could come up with within that, but that's in general the way that it works. All right, let's get into warranty. This is the terms and conditions page of our warranty. There's a warranty certificate that goes to your customer after you've accepted them into the program. This is the terms and conditions from the back of the actual contract. I wish I had put this on the screen, but there are actually two contract fronts. One of the fronts is if you are a single company that is doing both the contracting work and the annual inspection and warranty renewal work on the property. Okay, I can see that happening more so with the independents than maybe with the franchise companies. The other one is a form that you actually name any of the contracting companies that are involved in it as separate companies from your company, which is your warranties and guarantee renewal or inspections company, and it's showing both of those. The contract on the warranty and inspection renewal is retained with that company, and then it is pushing all of the work in a named way over to the contracting company, which would then have their separate work authorization contract with the customer. Does that make sense? Do you have any questions on how that might play a role in your business? Okay. Now that I've done this once, now I know that I should have done it sooner, but it brings us back with what I was just talking about to a single company versus an Enviroguard LLC. Now, we see these popping up all over the place where we've got Enviroguard South Louisiana, Enviroguard Gulf South, Enviroguard Minnesota, and I'm going to get to that in just a few minutes as to how that could play into a really workable solution to you from a branding standpoint. And of course, we've already mentioned how it can perfectly complement your contracting company and maybe allow you to gain market share that you wouldn't have otherwise gained if you had been competitive to other contractors in your area. So we'll get to that. But so we've already discussed that. I'm going to move on to the support side of things. I've spoken about already from a national perspective. My responsibility is business development with you after we leave here, right? We will put together a calendar and I will come for 2.5 days and work with you in the field so that we can gain business together. But the other side of this is the hands-on side, and this is where you are really going to, I think, see some benefit from us. Richard, who comes to us from Ace Mold Proof, who is a decade-long customer with us, he has just retired. He's only in his mid-50s, but he retired from Ace because he just didn't want to do crawl space business all day long, right? He was supervising and instructing those teams of technicians, and he was just tired of being in crawl spaces. So he retired from Ace, and we're fortunate enough that he comes to us with a significant amount of experience, and that experience is going to be used to train everyone from supervisors and technicians to upper management in companies on how to run their services, how to incorporate everything from the operational side through the product side into their business. And the way that I envision this happening is that, first of all, he's going to be here on hand for every single class. Secondly, we're going to put together regionalized meetings so that we can support in the field on a regional basis. And I'm toying with the idea, and I just don't know how to finance it yet, of also having him visit you directly. And I may have an answer for that coming up soon, but being able to actually go in and work with your administrative staff, your technicians, managers, etc., to really roll out the program strongly directly at your facility. And the answer to that might be in our services program. We are preparing right now the finals on our website, which will be called Enviroguardpro.com. Now, if you go to Enviroguardpro.com right now, it's actually going to do a redirect to FastRightGuaranteed.com. When we thought that this year's program was only going to be directed at real estate, Fast Right Guaranteed made total sense. Now that people are, in essence, getting subdomains of this website through our services, it does make a lot more sense to have something as short as Enviroguard Pro. And since we've got a lot of companies that are starting up separate LLCs under the service mark of Enviroguard, it makes a heck of a lot of sense for consistent branding and things when it comes to the warranty and inspection renewals to make that available. Now, what you're looking at on my screen is the example page of EnviroGuardPro.com. What you're also seeing in this on the upper right-hand corner is a new brochure that we just began using next week. Used it with tremendous success up in Minneapolis this week, and it explains the entire warranty and renewals program and benefits of that. That's the inside shot of the brochure that goes into the warranty itself, the conducive conditions inspection, the permanent property history report, the maintenance services, and the emergency services associated with the program. Down below that, you'll see the permanent property history report, and to its left, you'll see Microsoft Dynamics 365, which is our CRM that comes online starting July 1st. Now, the permanent property history report, if you're not familiar, is like a Carfax for a home. That is the destination for everything from inspection reports to receipts to warranty documents. You have it, you buy a new refrigerator, it can go right into that, and the homeowner has access to uploads as well as you do. This gets passed on to any future owner of the property when there is a closing or sale of the property to engender a high degree of confidence with the buyers, and to help make the home faster and easier to sell and more profitable to sell, both for the sellers and sellers' agents. So permanent property history report is a big deal to us. From my standpoint in business development, my goal is to take this to the Zillows of the world, and for every property to carry this seal the same way that you would see Carfax in the auto industry. What it takes to do that is a robust CRM, meaning that from everything from the inputs of this information through the remarketing of information and the campaigns associated with that, we have to have a CRM in place to support you. So we're putting all of these services together as kind of a bundled package. It has to be a paid-for package. We can't do it as just product sales. It's the only thing extraneous to product sales and what you're doing so far with us with the training that we're going to have to sell, but we're not going to do it as a percentage of revenue. We're going to do it as a simple What we're seeing as a monthly charge, our development team has already approved that and said, yeah, that's what we need. And what we're thinking of is that's probably going to be, something in the range of $500 a month for the total support, including a dedicated marketing specialist to it, to run those campaigns for you and to really make this thing sing for your company. So that can be something that I'm going to have to say is kind of opt-in, opt-out, right? But if there's someone who doesn't want to opt into it, then there's just going to be a limitation to what we can really do, because there's just going to be this consistent, cost associated with, CRM, writing campaigns, supporting campaigns, permanent property history report, web development, advertising, marketing, etc. Right? So I just want to be clear that now, because we're right in this transitionary period of time of offering this, we know we're going to have to be flexible. We know we're going to have to offer it right now as opt-in, opt-out, because you certainly didn't know coming into this that this even existed. So, there's not much we can do about it now. We have to go in this direction, but we want to be perfectly clear of what our intentions are and why our intentions are there. Any questions about that? I have a full document that will be in your Google Drive called the Enviroguard Authorized Dealership that outlines the services in terms of subscription for operations and technology services, support with live one-on-one group national and sales system support, and then also training, so that you can kind of see that all in one sheet. But anyway, that is what the services is looking like right now. Any questions? All right, let me go into our last slide here, which is our master dealer program. Along with this idea of the Enviroguard authorized dealer, we are going to create a master dealer program, and these guys will really be extensions of us. In other words, they are going to house an inventory product, and so that product can be available next day to all of our customers. They are going to run our continuing education programs at a regional level. They are also going to pursue their own warranty and renewals programs themselves, like Jonathan, who has Enviroguard Gulf South. They have a separate contracting company where they'll be referring all of their services from their Enviroguard company too. But that's how they're going to act for us on a national basis. We see this right now being made up of 18 master dealers across the country. Right now, we know who Minneapolis is going to be. That is going to be Eric Mortensen. Obviously, New Orleans is going to be Jonathan Porter and Scott Phillips. And Washington, D.C. is Pete Panazopoulos. Those are the only commitments that we have right now, but we have to start out slow. We've got to nurture it. We've got to make sure that there is nothing that we're missing, but what we see from this is the ability to offer lower cost continuing education, technician training, all those sorts of things, lower cost shipping, of course, on our products, faster shipping on our products, and more localized or regionalized support from the standpoint of being able to enhance my business development program out there in the field. So that I want to give you that overview of what to expect from us, where we're going with things, how this is ramping up, what it's looking like right now, because you're in year one of this, right? We've been working on this for 10 years. We've gotten to a point where we have all the big pieces together. We understand, how all the smaller pieces are fitting into things, but it's coming into focus as this year progresses. You're part of class 3. So congratulations on being early adopters, but you also need to know coming into this that there are little things that we're tweaking as we go along, but with the assistance of a development team that is driving the program, I think you can feel rest assured that you're in good hands with great people who a lot of us know, a lot of us trust, and we know that they have our best interests at heart as they're making suggestions, whether it be on the products that we carry, the services and support that we offer, etc. It is exceptionally transparent, right? We don't do anything without the assistance from the development team. And if I'm not available, they are always available to answer your questions. And everything that we do, we post it to the Enviroguard Certified Contractor page on Facebook. If a new form goes in, or we're in the development of something, we're keeping everybody abreast on that page. Nothing happens without your knowledge. And so consider the development team your direct connection to complete transparency. We don't have another board outside of that runs anything, okay? It is the development team alone that determines direction and decisions. Any questions about things overall, or anything regarding our master dealer program, the development team, and how we work together? Okay, well, we have concluded, I think, this session for today. If you do have any questions, or you need to jump on the phone with me or someone here, we'll be glad to assist you. Appreciate you attending today's, I guess, 40-minute session as we've gone through this information. You'll see a lot going into your Google Drive this afternoon. And like I said, the first step is really that license, so that we can begin working on all your co-branded materials. If you have questions there, I'm your direct contact for anything licensing related, and I'll be happy to work with you on it. But we're looking forward to seeing everybody here in beautiful Banner Elk. If you haven't been here before, it is the most picturesque place you've ever been to, and even in the dead of summer, you will be enjoying, high 70, degree weather, low 80-degree weather, with very low humidity. So we know that everyone beyond just the course itself will enjoy just being here. That's the feedback we've gotten from everybody, like the Brian Cranfields of the world who have come in from Indianapolis, and we know you'll love it. So it'll be a great experience, and I think that we're going to be a great asset and partner to you in the future. So thanks so much for your time today. We'll record this and upload this as well. And as soon as we have that license, you'll also become a member of our intellectual properties folder. That will give you access to our full library of materials, videos, all those sorts of things, so that you can prep yourself for launching in your region and city. So again, thanks so much for attending today, and we'll be talking to you soon. How's that?